Thank you, and good afternoon. You know, when Mark asked me to be here to speak to you, he told me there might be a few people. This is wonderful. And it's an extreme pleasure for me to have been asked to say a few things for you, to you today. I've been wanting to participate in this moment with you. It is Constitution Week, a document that I have taken an oath to defend in my role as your public safety servant in Milwaukee County. I have my pocket-sized copy of the Constitution of the United States with me here today. One of the many that I purchased when I made a visit to the National Archives in Washington, D.C., where I viewed the original document on display. I waited in line to read that original document. When it was my turn, I stood in front of it, and it was as if I could hear the Founding Fathers read along with me. I quickly went to the 13th Amendment, the one that freed the slaves. I have forgiven America for this past injustice and have decided to move on, and that's why I'm here today. My father taught me that if you don't see beyond the past, you can never see the future. Several news outlets called this week and asked why I was appearing at this event as if I needed to explain. And I thought to myself, I'm going because somewhere I read about the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances, and yet now we're accused by Nancy Pelosi and her ilk of being an angry mob. And somewhere I read, yes, somewhere, I read where Thomas Jefferson said that a little rebellion now and then is a good thing, and now the liberals accuse us of inciting violence. Ladies and gentlemen, somewhere I read in the Declaration of Independence that one of the injustices being committed was that of imposing taxes without the consent of the people. And now we're being called Nazis. Somewhere I read that in 1773, a group of Boston citizens led by Samuel Adams protested taxes on the colony in an event called the Boston Tea Party. And while they were called patriots, Jimmy Carter thinks you are racist. Yes, somewhere I heard Thomas Jefferson, in reference to taxation, say that government should not take from the mouth of man food that his own hands have made, and yet today our government takes more and more money from people who earned it and gives it to people who did not earn it. When the mob was skimming profits from Las Vegas casinos, it was called organized crime. When the government does it to hardworking Americans, it's called taxation. Ladies and gentlemen, the only difference between taxation and robbery is a gun and a mask. Somewhere I read where a 2004 Nobel Prize winner for economics, Edward Prescott, wrote that the purpose of the tax code was for government to provide necessary services at the least cost to people. Services like national security and public safety. Yet today the government owns a car company, subsidizes the purchases of those cars through a program called Cash for Clunkers. The government owns a bank and wants to bail people out from every bad financial decision that they make. President Ronald Reagan said that you can't be for big government, big taxes and big bureaucracy and still be for the little guy. He said that the government's view of the economy can be summed up in a few short phrases. If it moves, tax it. If it keeps moving, regulate it. And if it stops moving, subsidize it. President John F. Kennedy in 1962 said, and I quote, that tax rates are too high, tax revenues are too low, and the soundest way to raise revenues in the long run is to cut the tax rates now. An across-the-board, top-to-bottom cut in personal and corporate income taxes. And in a speech he was scheduled to deliver on November 22nd, 1963, before he was assassinated, Kennedy planned to report proudly that he had proposed a massive tax reduction with particular benefits to small businesses, cuts that liberals now refer to as tax breaks for the rich. JFK did not think so. Mayor Rudy Giuliani said that if the economy needs a jobs program, then reduce taxes so we can create jobs for poor people and the unemployed. In closing, let me say this. I'm here today because, like you, I pay too much in taxes to all levels of government. It doesn't stop. My income is taxed, my home is taxed, my cell phone is taxed, my car is taxed, the gas to drive it is taxed, to heat my home is taxed, to turn on a light in my home is taxed, the TV I watch is taxed, the bed I sleep in is taxed, the food I eat is taxed, and here's my favorite. In Milwaukee, we now have a wheel tax. I already paid taxes on my car, and oh yeah, when you die, there's a tax for that too. Ladies and gentlemen, they can call you whatever they want, but they can never doubt your freedom-loving spirit, your love for this country and its Constitution, nor can they doubt your determination. You are true patriots. God bless you and good afternoon.
This video presentation has been brought to you by BadgerBlogger.com.